Greetings, I'm Jesse Rogers. We're set to have a candid conversation with Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, a man known to many Kenyans for his principles, a stickler for the rule of law and constitutionalism, a man who rose to the highest office in the judicial arm of government and now sets his sights on the highest office in the land. He's set to get his hands dirty, wading into the murky world of politics with the aim of becoming president come 2027. The big question is, will he redefine governance in Kenya? Will he capture the imagination of the young and old alike? Even though critics say he's a novice in Kenya's political landscape. Well, he hit the ground running, and a lot has happened ever since he made his bid public. We now want to have a conversation with David Maraga just to get his take on Kenya's governance landscape. Maraga, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for making time for KTN.
Thank you very much, Jesse, for the opportunity. I'm happy to be with you.
Looking forward to this conversation. And perhaps we can start with the very latest, because it seems President William Ruto has got a nudge on the shoulder when it comes to his statements on the war on corruption in the country. Just to give background for the sake of our audience, the president has formed an anti-corruption agency just recently and enacted a Conflict of Interest Act. Now, this anti-graft body has been suspended at the High Court due to queries raised by petitioners over its legality and matters to do with conflict of interest. So let's start with the new legislation and this new anti-graft body. What do you make of it? Is this a redefined or genuine move to fight corruption in the country, or it simply boils down to cosmetic measures designed to appease the public?
Thank you, Rogers. Some of us have been talking about corruption in this country. Corruption has ruined this country. And we are talking about mega corruption. Corruption which is budgeted. You know, in most cases, when somebody talks about corruption, people think about, a few shillings given to a clerk to get a file, or a police officer to let somebody who was overspeeding. But the actual problem is on budgeted corruption. We have in the last few weeks had the Auditor General's report about e-citizen, which is being used like a private ATM. Public funds getting their way to private accounts. We have heard about money being paid to go to schools, and very many scandals. The president himself now comes and actually confirms all that. He says some members of parliament are demanding money from the executive. And of course, you have seen how the members of parliament have gone up in arms, saying the president must substantiate that. So we are keen to see that happen. We are keen to know who are these members of parliament who are demanding millions. We are particularly keen to know from whom they were demanding the millions. In fact, the president said the money was given, and he was asking the members of parliament whether they received it. Are you seeing the point? Meaning the money had already been given. Which is this government department that gave money to members of parliament? The public, I'm particularly keen to know that. Uh-huh. Now, the setting up of multi-agency task force, that is cosmetic. That's a PR exercise. In fact, it's a deception. It's just woodwinking the Kenyans. Uh-huh. We have established machinery to deal with corruption. We have institutions which have been given constitutional mandate to deal with corruption. All that is required is to enable those institutions to carry out their mandate. Now, if this agency is allowed to operate, it means EACC, for example, will hold back and say, look, you can't have somebody subjected to two institutions or to two bodies working on the same point. So I was not surprised. In fact, I had even spoken like the day before yesterday, that I would not be surprised if somebody goes to court and this is stopped. So, the corruption must be fought and be fought in the way that is established by the Constitution, so that Kenyans can have their public funds directed to the areas where they are supposed to be spent on.
And you raised that issue about Parliament and the president's allegations. And I'm pretty sure you can relate to this blame game, because when you were the head of the judiciary, the former president alleged that the judiciary is the weakest link in the fight against graft, a statement you condemned, saying that the judiciary is being judged unfairly. So there's no basis in terms of evidence that has been given. It's a blanket condemnation centered towards Parliament, similarly to when former President Uhuru Kenyatta pointed a blaming finger to the judiciary. How best do we ascertain some of these statements by the head of state, who says he's a consumer of raw intelligence and he knows? So how best to ascertain such claims?
Exactly. The president should tell the EACC the source of this information. EACC knows if it is intelligence information, they will have a lead and they will carry out investigations. As you have rightly put it, when I was in the office, this blame game was there. And you remember there was a conference held at the Bomas of Kenya, and where I was put to task. And I challenged them. They could not answer. I challenged them, they could not answer. The fight against corruption must be concerted, must be coordinated and done in a proper manner. During that time, I remember vividly, I told the DPP then that it was a joke. It was like a joke. How do you charge 30 people in one case of corruption? You know 30 people with 30 lawyers, for example. Will that case ever end? If one lawyer is sick, the case cannot proceed. If one accused person is sick, the case cannot proceed because you will not go on with the case in the absence of somebody. Those are the kind of gimmicks they play when they are supposed to fight corruption, and it is all sometimes boils down to a public PRE exercise. So the corruption is not going to be fought by task forces. Corruption is going to be fought by the EACC carrying out its investigations, the CID carrying out their investigations properly, the DPP preferring the correct charges, and knowing how many people should be charged in one file and things like that. And of course, evidence produced before court. You know, one other thing, quite a number of people, the public sometimes is, especially the gullible public, think that it is the court which has let somebody out. The court cannot convict without evidence. The court, the law is very, very clear. The court cannot convict without evidence. If the court were to convict somebody without evidence, in fact, the whole country will go up in condemnation. Say, look, what type of court is this? What does that mean? What that means is that each agency of government is supposed to carry out its duties. And this is not anything which is not clear. It is all said very clearly. If it is the CID who are investigating, the CID know what they need to present before court to get a conviction. The same with the EACC. So let us leave the institutions that have been set by state, by the Constitution, to do their work. Let them be facilitated. Quite a number of them, if you speak or if you hear when they are making their reports, they are handicapped by various things. They are not properly funded. They are not allowed, they don't have enough manpower. And in most of those cases, that is deliberate to weaken them so that the fight is not fought. Why is that cool? Because those who are supposed to facilitate them are the ones engaging in mega corruption. So it is in their interest that shoddy investigations are carried out and things like that.
Interesting. I'd like your take on the principle of separation of powers, because that's what the Constitution envisages. But ever so often, do we hear street talk about Parliament, in particular, being an appendage of the executive, that they're simply a rubber stamp? So let's say under your presidency, how exactly will you ensure this doctrine is not just delivered on paper, but actualized in terms of this important principle when it comes to separation of powers?
Thank you very much. Rogers, I've made, even in my judicial statements, I have made statements that constitutional power is constrained power. What do I mean? What I mean by constitutional power being constrained power is, I mean that each arm of government must keep to its lane. The Constitution has defined what powers are to be exercised by the executive. The Constitution has defined what powers are to be exercised by Parliament and the judiciary as well.
Yeah.
So, Parliament is supposed to oversight. Parliament is supposed to oversight when it allows itself to be captured. And you know, this is all coming round again on the question of corruption. State funds are being used to bribe members of Parliament to compromise on issues they should not compromise. So it is that problem that we need to deal with, and it must be dealt with all around. We have had allegations of members of Parliament being given money. It is so sad. Somebody even said that they are given money in toilets to go and pass a given legislation, or to approve the appointment of somebody on things like that. That's extremely sad. That's extremely sad. This is all because the executive has captured Parliament. Parliament, it's a shame that Parliament has allowed itself to be captured. During my presidency, I will not interfere with any arm of government. I will not interfere with any department of government. All I will do is to demand accountability. Ask every arm of government to play its role. If members, departments which fall under the executive, which I will be oversighting directly, I will demand accountability. But let them work. That's the way it should be. If you allow the judiciary to overreach, you allow executive to overreach the others. That's what we are having. We are having those problems, especially from the executive. It's the one which is overreaching on the other arms of government. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about other matters, because the fight against corruption is definitely ongoing, and it'll take the whole country to actually get rid of this scourge. But equally, the shrinking democratic space is definitely worrying. And in recent public remarks made by yourself, you warned that Kenya is on the brink of becoming a failed state. You cited matters to do with abductions and the alleged use of terrorism charges to silence dissent. Now, this is a powerful statement coming from the former head of the judiciary, so powerful that it sparked a reply from the head of state, who actually questioned why you've been working in a failed state for roughly over 40 years and still want to be president of a failed state. Perhaps a right of reply. Can you elaborate the specific constitutional and legal indicators that led you to this conclusion?
Thank you, Jesse. You know, when does a state fail? A state fails when the organs of state either overreach or fail to perform their functions. We have had in the past few months, and even from last year, cases of abduction. And this abduction is not being done by criminals, it's done by agents of state. Where on earth have you had, a government abducting its own people? Abducting its own people. If those people have committed an offense, arrest them and take them to court. When you abducted them and detain them, some of them are killed. And when questions are asked, the IG comes up and says, my people are not involved. Somebody else comes and says, my people are not involved. Then what kind of state are you talking about? To make matters worse, what made me say that this country is heading to a collapsed state? We saw it on TV, and we even saw it yesterday. You have goons who are dispersing and beating up people who are using their democratic right to express their views. They are beating them, and the police are watching. What are we talking about? You have police who are supposed to maintain peace. You have police, if there is any of those people demonstrating, committing an offense, you have police to restrain them. Now, instead of that, you have militia. In fact, you can even call them militia with rungus beating up people. That's what I meant, that we are descending to a failed state. Then the president now uses that and says, I have been working in a failed state. Forgetting even said I've been working for almost 50 years I didn't work for 50 years in the state. I was in private practice for 25 years. I was in the judiciary for about 18 and a half years. That's the correction I want to make. But what I want to say, and I maintain it, unless we remove these goons which are being employed by the government, and it's public knowledge, let nobody be cheated. They think that people are so stupid they can't see that these are hired goons. These are goons who have state protection. Because if they were not having state protection, the police would be fast, beating them up and dispersing them, because that is the order the police are supposed to maintain. So when you have a state where those organs of state which are supposed to use reasonable violence where it is required have subjugated its responsibility and has given it to goons, that's how you get a state failing, and many other things.
Okay, so you're painting a grim picture. At the end of the day, and allow me to quote you verbatim, you're the one who said the greatness of a nation lies in its fidelity to the Constitution and the strict adherence to the rule of law. How do we reset this country back to the rule of law? Why are you the trusted pair of hands?
Thank you. Thank you very much. My record shows that wherever I've been given an opportunity, I have applied the law. 2017, I had an election. I headed the Supreme Court. The election was not conducted in accordance with the law. The law required that elections be conducted in a transparent and verifiable manner. Transparent and verifiable manner. The election was not carried out in a transparent and verifiable manner. People, when we overturned that judgment, everybody was shouting and saying, look, Uhuru had more votes. How do you, transparency and verifiability is what goes into the numbers. If you don't have a transparent process, how do we tell whether these numbers have been properly obtained? So I together with my colleagues in the Supreme Court, we stood firm and overturned that election. Parliament was supposed to enact legislation to actualize the 2/3 gender rule within five years. Failure to do that, the Constitution provided that the applications can be made to the Chief Justice, not to the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice alone to advise the President to dissolve Parliament. I had 6 petitions. I had 6 petitions made under Article 261 and the 50th schedule of the Constitution. I looked at the law. I served those petitions were served upon the Parliament. They were served upon the AG. The AG made the submissions. The Parliament made the submissions. I looked at that. I found no merit in that. They had no reason whatsoever why they had not enacted the required legislation. Okay. I advised the President to dissolve Parliament. That's what should tell Kenyans what type of person I am. I was condemned by MPs. Some of them didn't even want to greet me. But I said the law must be followed. Some people think that when we say let's follow the Constitution, we are being pedantic and saying, look, you're being almost theoretical. When we say follow the Constitution, if you go, the Constitution has provided for principles of governance, accountability, integrity. All these are there. Once you follow those principles, you will have the right place in the right positions. You will be sensitive to people like that is, those challenged with disabilities, whose section, Article 54 requires that at least 5%. Of them should be absorbed. What the Constitution does is fairness to everyone. And that's why I am so particular that if Kenyans permit me to come to power, I will say, look, let us follow the Constitution. I have said many times that we have one of the best constitutions in the world. If we follow what the Constitution requires, all right, we will have everybody happy. And that one I can assure you, and I have said more than once, I would demand that everybody obeys the law, starting with me. Yeah? And it will be very simple. If everybody obeys the law, the police will do their work, the ESCC will do its work, the teachers will, those charged with the administration of education will do their work without being interfered with. Universities will run their affairs as they are required, independently. Yeah? Now, when that is not being done, you find the executive interfering with even the university administration. Yeah? Those who are being appointed to positions of administration don't even have the respect of their colleagues. How do you expect an institution like the university to run when it is being interfered with? Those are the kind of things I'm talking about, and okay. And I believe that if we follow the law and enforce the Constitution, we will be quite happy, all of us.
Interesting. Well, we need to take a short break. The bills have to be paid. Okay. But as we come back, we'll definitely wade into matters politics, because many argue that you might be a gentleman in the dirty game of politics. Are you afraid to get your hands dirty? Well, we'll find out right after this break. Stay with us.
Guys, we are expecting some guests today.
Guests? No way.
Who preserves the honor of the house?
The bathroom.
Wow.
You smell nice. Godrej Air Power Pocket with Power Gel technology that keeps your bathroom smelling amazing for 30 days straight. If rooms could talk, they would ask for Godrej Air.
Home Uninterrupted, brought to you by Safaricom. Feels good to be home. Enjoy 25% off on your home internet connection for the bronze package. Get speeds of 15 Mbps at only 2,250 shillings, down from 2,999 shillings. For the silver package, enjoy 30 Mbps for just 3,075 shillings, down from 4,100 shillings. For the gold package, enjoy 80 Mbps for 4,725 shillings, down from 6,299 shillings. For the diamond package, get ultra-fast speeds of 500 Mbps for only 9,375 shillings, down from 12,499 shillings. Visit My Safaricom app or dial *400# to get connected. Offer valid for new customers from 1st to 31st of August 2025. Home Uninterrupted, brought to you by Safaricom. Feels good to be home.
Enjoy an exclusive voice, data and SMS plan for home fiber customers. that can be shared with up to 5 family members. Dial star 400 hash or go to my Safaricom app to add family share to your Safaricom home fiber.
This month on Star Times, and the drama never lets up. Loyalty is tested in a war for power on gangs of Manila. When blood and truth collide, truth tests loyalty. Welcome to Sagrado. Watch Gigi's ruthless quest for justice in beautiful revenge. Experience the epic love story of Rama and Sita in Ramayan. Two sisters, one destiny. Together, they are unstoppable on Divya Drishti. Renew your subscription for 2 months on your current bouquet and we'll upgrade you to the next high bouquet absolutely free for 2 months. Don't miss a single heartbeat. Stream all your favorite channels and shows on Star Times on. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
The taste of life is here. Kids, breakfast.
No.
You will want onja.
You finally got it, Mom. You know it's better than butter.
Perfectly salted, melts in your mouth just like butter. It's better than butter. Onja margarine from Pwani Oil.
One day, while teaching an oral health care class, I saw a little boy who kept covering his mouth. It turns out he had lost some of his teeth and he felt embarrassed. Now, as a hygienist, a child's smile means everything to me. Every child has a right to smile, and a beautiful smile is a healthy smile, and nothing should ever get in the way of that.
Cheeky these Uber Boda softies who forgot how to bargain. Me, I get the same price by just talking. Okay, just an extra 100. Maybe 150?
Next time, no need to bargain, bana. Uber Boda, everything Uber, now on 2 wheels.
Deals kibao kila wiki na Carrefour.
Enjoy fresh chicken thigh quarter at 449 shillings. Onion bread at 85 shillings. KCC Gold Crown milk 500 ml at 44 shillings. Seal Pishori rice 5 kg at 985 shillings. And LG washing machine 8 kg at 69,995 shillings.
Deals kibao kila wiki na Carrefour.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it KTN. We're having a conversation with a man who needs no introduction, Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, a man who stands tall when it comes to upholding the principles of the rule of law and constitutionalism. Well, he wants to wade into matters politics, and we're here to get his take on matters to do with governance right here in the country. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. Let's continue with the conversation. And before we talk matters politics, many might be curious as to how a Maraga presidency might look like, especially on the economic aspect of the country. When we talk about how we're in a debt hole, how majority of the money collected from taxpayers generally goes to recurrent expenditure and paying debts. We're left with so little in terms of development, and that's why perhaps the government looks internally and externally in order to perhaps increase the money they have when it comes to development and whatnot. Talk to us about your presidency. How will you wiggle through these tough economic times that Kenyans are living in?
It is not going to be a simple thing, but it has to be faced on. There are quite a number of things that have been done wrong that has caused the economy to plummet. If you look around, you will find that quite a number of businesses are closing down in Kenya and going to other countries. That should worry anybody. That should worry anybody. Why are businesses closing in Kenya? When you go to the details, you will find that it is because of the regulation. It is because of the conditions the government is imposing on these businesses, and they are finding that remaining in Kenya, they are going to operate under laws. I mean, Rogers, we know, and we have been told by business communities, like when it comes to around election, those in power demand protection money from business communities, so that businesses have got to pay up to operate. When it comes to investors, especially foreign, direct foreign investment, those who want to come here, they are given this condition or the other, this condition or the other. In fact, in some cases, we have information of cases where some money has been demanded for them to be allowed to operate in Kenya. Some have gone as far as even demanding to be given shares in the new businesses that are being started here. And what do those people do? They say, look, go to hell, we can go elsewhere. And they go elsewhere. So, that is, and what does that do to the economy? You have a shrinking economy. You have challenges even, levying taxes so that you can raise revenue. You have huge problems with employment. When an existing farm closes down, it is employing, say, about 2,000. And you know how many people are benefiting from 2,000 with their families and relatives? All those people suffer. Then now come to the question of government debt, public debt. The government has borrowed heavily, particularly from the local financial institutions. What does that mean? What that means is that the banks, of course, find it better to lend to the government because they have no risks of recovery. And what that means is that interest rates have gone very high. Those in businesses, those in SMEs cannot go to the banks with the rates of interest that are being charged. There's no way anybody can make a business. So what do? They just find they are frustrated and there's nothing they can do. And you know, the SMEs hold almost 80% of our economic activities.
They're the backbone.
They are the backbone.
Yes.
So when you frustrate them, and they are not able to operate, you know what that means. First of all, there is no even money in circulation, and everybody is suffering. So, coming to my presidency, that's one thing I will deal with firmly, to ensure that government borrows within its means. Government borrows within its means. Deal with the leakages, which I have told you. Deal with wastage. There's a lot of wastage in government that you can deal with. I can give you one example. The president has how many advisors? More than 20 advisors. Somebody worked it out. Each of those advisors goes home together with the cars they are given and the privileges they are given, is an equivalent of 2 million shillings every month. What are these advisors doing? Advising the president. You have lawyers advising the president on issues of law. What is the Attorney General doing? The Attorney General has a whole established office, which is supposed to do that. You have advisors on the economy. You have advisors on this. What is the ministry doing? You find those who are employed by government sitting in offices doing nothing because their work is being done by somebody else.
There's duplication of roles.
Duplication of roles.
So that might cater for the ballooning wage bill. I have to ask about the pending bills as well, because it's an issue, not just at the national, but at the county level as well.
Exactly. The county levels, you have huge problems. Most of the budget which is given to the county governments goes to pay salaries. Goes to pay salaries because of the bloated workforce, with a lot of duplication of roles. And then we say, look, the economy is not working for us. We are wasting a lot, and of course, you know it. Corruption was devolved. It is even worse in the county governments, and you have all those problems. So unless we put our act together, Kenya is not a poor country. Let me tell you, comparatively, Kenya is not a poor country. We saw when the economy was doing very well. I mean, even our neighbors were envying us. But slowly, let me tell you, slowly, we are losing that prestigious position we have held in the past. We need to get our act together, stop this wastage, redirect the funds that are required. Yesterday, I was in a forum where we were discussing about matters of education and the problems that are there in education. What came out is shocking. A lot of money is wasted. It doesn't. The money which is budgeted to go to schools to go for capitation is diverted, and it doesn't reach the schools. As a result, the parents are now left to shoulder levies that they are not supposed to shoulder. And you are talking about giving free education. You tell people you are giving free education, you are doing this, and yet the capitation cannot enable the schools to run.
Okay.
And the budget, when it is done, and if it is properly spent, it will relieve the parents the burdens that has been placed on their shoulders.
Let's talk politics right now, and perhaps this is a common narrative, Emeritus. Many Kenyans might question your political track record. Mm-hmm. This is your first stab at the presidency, mm-hmm. and as it's commonly said, politics is a game of numbers. That you might, when you enter politics, you should have a political base. So I guess the question would be, what's your political base right now? What defines your politics? What exactly will you build this campaign on?
Thank you very much. I've even been asked that question. Some have said, what is your philosophy? Uh-huh. And those asking those questions want me to say I am a social democrat, I am a liberal, I am a communist or something like that.
All right, yes.
If you ask me, my philosophy is ukatiba, following the constitution. And as I've said, I can cite very, very many articles that if they are implemented, they will show you that you will provide for socioeconomic rights, you will provide for education, you will provide for health care, and you will see. So my philosophy is ukatiba. My philosophy is that one of making sure that we mind the welfare of our people. Utu. The South Africans call it Ubuntu. Minding the welfare. When you have sick people, when somebody requires dialysis and they can't get it because he has no money, what are you talking about? We are not mindful of other people. So if we implement the constitution and make sure that we seal the leakages, these people will get that. Now, you asked about the
political base.
The political base.
It's a game of numbers at the end of the day.
It's a game of numbers.
Yeah.
Some people are saying, look, I should go to Kisii and Nyamira and get the support of those people. That's one of the things that I'm going to fight. This ethnic balkanization is what is creating huge problems. People are being elected on the basis of their ethnicity. And at the end of the day, if you are electing somebody on the basis of your ethnicity, issues like competence, issues like leadership qualities, issues like what the development agenda one has in mind are not considered. People just wanted to, elect their own. And at the end of the day, you end up with people who are not capable of running the country. My political base is Kenya. I am going to appeal to Kenyans to elect me president.
Do you think Kenyans are ready for issue-based politics?
Yes, they are ready for issue-based politics. I have spoken to quite a number of professionals, Roger. They are tired. They are tired of this ethnic balkanization. They want a system that runs and serves everyone. Because, if you have your tribesman who is going to mind about stealing and enabling those around him to steal, the rest of the ethnic community remain where they are. In fact, they get into worse positions. So my base is going to be Kenya, and I'm going to appeal to Kenyans to put aside that a time has come. A time has come. I call it a critical juncture in the history of our country, that we should say, no, we can't have this anymore. Let us elect people on their track record. Let us elect people on their competence to serve the whole nation. Somebody who is going to serve the whole nation. If I'm elected, I come from the Kisii community. The Kisii community alone can't elect me to parliament, to presidency. I will need the support of the entire country. When it comes to forming government, the constitution, it says exactly what should be done. Competency, regional balance. Yeah. You have everybody on board, and we will run the country properly. I want us to get back to where the aspirations of the Kenyan people in the constitution are, and we will have fairness. Once you implement the constitution, once you stand firm and say, let this be done, okay, it will be fairness to everyone.
I have to ask this because being a gentleman in the world of politics is a double-edged sword. It can cut both ways. So at the end of the day, when things get murky, are you ready to get your hands dirty, or will you rise above the slander and the political rhetoric, which is the current nature of Kenyan politics? He fires words at me, I fire salvos back, and let the public be the judge of it. How will you conduct your politics, sir?
Thank you, Rogers. There are sometimes when people are mistaken. Somebody who is, for example, soft-spoken, some people think he's not competent. It is not the noise. It is not the rhetoric that makes a leader. A leader is, in my own assessment, a leader is somebody who is focused, who knows what to do, who is capable of taking firm decisions even when they are unpopular, and saying, let the right thing be done. You have said about going to the murky waters. We will go there. We will go there. Those who will throw salvos against us, we will repulse them. We will repulse them. But there is one thing I want you to understand, and I want the Kenyans to understand. I am not going to abuse those who are abusing me and using vulgar language. That's beneath me. That I can tell you. But I will not stand idle. I will deal with those people. In fact, if you point their weaknesses, you have dealt with them. But standing up and saying this man is this or that, using vulgar language, that is not the kind of language a leader should employ. Even from those campaigns. Okay. People are supposed to see a leader in you. But when you descend to that level, it should tell the public who you are.
You'll be stooping to their level.
Exactly.
Are you your own man? Sorry to ask this, because I'm pretty sure you've seen some of these comments, and they're not just centered on yourself, perhaps other presidential aspirants as well. The project tag. are you your own man? Is there someone behind the presidency, your candidacy for president come 2027?
Roger.
Yes.
Thank you very much for asking that question. I've been asked many, many times. I was warned that when you go into politics, they will look for everything and anything to smear your reputation.
True.
That is one tag that has come. I want to tell Kenyans that I'm nobody's project and I will never be anybody's project. Look at my record. Roger, what does it mean to be a project? What it means to be a project is that you are compromised. You are given money. Really, at my age, to be given money? Whose rights have I trampled upon? I have not abducted any Kenyans. I have not killed any Kenyan. Eh? Well, how can I, at my age now, descend to that level? And that's what I'm telling you that we are fighting. Compromise. Compromise. I cannot be saying I am going to fight corruption when I am myself the project of corruption. Who is that who has bought me? Who is that? Why haven't I allowed myself to be bought? You want to tell me that in 2017 Kenyatta couldn't buy me if he wanted to buy me? I mean, let Kenyans see this. Let them see that these are smear campaigns that are, directed at me. Okay. And that's what I told you I will face. I am not for this project, and I can never be anybody's project.
Interesting. Financing a presidential campaign is no mean task, and I'm pretty sure you are aware to this fact. So you revealed the bulk of your funding will rely on the goodwill of Kenyans. You launched a website, a campaign website asking people to donate. So how's the progress? Because transversing this great republic of ours in terms of selling your bid will definitely need financial muscle.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Rogers. I've done that deliberately. First of all,
yes,
because I don't have the funding. I don't have the money to campaign. Secondly, and I think it is the right thing to do, when the Kenyans themselves fund my campaign, I am obliged to them. I will know that this money has come from Wanjiku. Wanjiku requires my services. What am I fighting in this? What I'm fighting in this is that the current situation where we are in, if somebody comes, if a governor has spent 10 million and he comes into office, the first thing he wants is to recoup. Then after that, he starts building a war chest. I mean, are you seeing how corruption is coming in everywhere? A war chest. Then they have that money, they are dishing out left, right, and center. You know what is happening with the empowerment, so-called empowerment? Where is that money coming from? Where is that? That's money which has been stolen from the public, and the public are being given, and you now see like here is a philanthropic leadership that is giving, is assisting us. How long is that? That is not even sustainable. My campaign is going to tell the Kenyans that don't be hoodwinked with 200 shillings, 300 shillings, 500 shillings, and you sell your soul literally. We want to change that so that even those who don't have money but have leadership capabilities can be elected on issues, can be elected on values, and they serve Kenyans. Not electing people, not electing thieves who go and steal more from you, and you remain there. In our campaign, messages, we are going to tell Kenyans to stop that. And that's the only way we can change, and change fundamentally.
I haven't had a figure. How much so far, perhaps?
We are progressing well. We have actually not gone out very, very vigorously to campaign and say, please give us money. But I have all indications that the Kenyans are going to fund. Roger, I will come to you. I'll come to you.
I'll give the lead like an interesting.
I was touched. I went to a construction site. Those people who work on 500 shillings a day. Some of them were, their supervisor told me that, some of them said they can work for one day in a week to give Maraga this money to campaign. I was humbled. And I can assure you, those people mean it. They were talking when I had not even gone there. They were talking about politics, especially when I declared. I trust they are going to do that. And we don't need very much, a lot of money. 100 shillings from somebody, 50, 10, we will have enough. Why? All I need is money for logistics, for campaign. I am not asking for money to go and bribe voters to vote for me. I just need money for logistics, and we will be home and dry.
Okay, interesting. So our time is up, and you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. This is a proper conversation.
Yeah.
So parting shot, at the end of the day, your experience in the judiciary, how exactly did it equip you for this role ahead? And equally, speak to some of the naysayers, some of those who are skeptical about your aspirations to lead this country. Yes.
Thank you very much. Fellow Kenyans, let me tell you this. Trust me with the executive power, and I will not let you down. Look at my record. When I was in the judiciary, there was a lot of attempts to twist me, but I stood firm at the very end. That should tell you what kind of person I am. Let anybody who says I have been bribed come up and say I have been bribed on this and that day. You will find that there is none. That's why I'm confident when I tell Kenyans that I will deal with corruption, because I hate corruption. I believe that we should have what we have worked for. In fact, that's what the Bible even says. Those who don't work should not even eat. You don't work by stealing from other people. So Kenyans, I will be firm, I will be fair. Even those who commit crimes, even those who have stolen government funds, they will be taken through the legal process. We will find a way. We will liaise with the judiciary, empower them, so that they deal with those cases expeditiously and firmly. And the Kenyans will see the results of this. We cannot go on with this extractive system that is, leadership, that are there to steal from everybody. Scandals are there with the Auditor General every day. And as I said at the beginning of this interview, they have been confirmed by none other than the President himself. The President is saying that some of his members of the executive have given money to Parliament. As I said, we are waiting to hear that, and we want to see what action the President is going to do. Not this, PRE exercises of appointing multi-agency department to deal with.
Yeah.
I trust that Kenyans will elect me to be President, and I will be a fair person to everyone. We will mind the welfare of our people. We will ensure that funds are directed to health, funds are directed to education. Lawyers, do you know when you starve schools of money, you lose generations of young people because they have no opportunity. Some of them in remote areas don't have the same opportunity. They can't compete. Those people are lost. That's not the kind of country I want to lead. I want to lead a country where fairness is displayed, where we are even more mindful of especially the very, very vulnerable groups. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And all will be revealed in the fullness of time.
Yes.
Good thing. Kenyans will have their say and will have their way come 2027. We appreciate your time and your input right here on KTN as we got to just canvass your thinking and your strategy ahead of the 2027 general election. My name is Jesse Rogers. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for having me.